All right.
What if they ghosted us? That would be fun.
There we go. We're back on, boys. Got the stream set up so that we can spectate what's going on properly now. And as we said, yeah, it's just from the bot lane. And that's a huge amount of damage coming out from Chase. Chunking Jineba almost down to none. Gonna lifesteal up a back. But the Master Yi pick coming in with a lot of damage here.
Oh, nice.
Gonna be able to pick up the Anivia and Egg form. And that's another gank bot that succeeded for the
Could have
side
gone
of
the
905
Anivia
eSports.
form, yeah.
So it's going to be a little bit interesting. I'm
Yeah.
going to turn the volume
She
down
can't kill you when she's in
on their stream almost to nothing just because I don't want their comms to get too confusing.
I think it is worth mentioning that when we did start hosting Jineba's stream roughly 5-6 minutes ago, I believe, the score was 7-1, or 7-1 rather, in favor of 905. It's now 15-16, and in favor of Poro Land. So it's been once again another big slugfest in this game. Both teams really enjoy fighting.
Oh, wait. Hold on.
Not like this.
How do I do this?
You have to.
I forgot the last step, which is now shutting down the host and turning and fixing the stream. So, one moment. All right.
They're on Infernal. Any chance we can test? Probably not.
Nope.
Push out mid. Do you guys get first tower top?
I don't want to do this.
You guys need that first tower right now?
Oh, come on.
Lose it. I'll dive top. Oh, never mind. I'll walk away mid. Their play is mid lane. That's a free first tower. Mid lane. That's a free first tower top. Probably 4 bottom. No, only 2. Only plus Lee Sin is possible. Is heading up top.
All right.
Sorry, everyone's super fed. They win this.
Gonna do this. All right, and we should be set now in terms of our streams back up with the capture on there so that you can hear our commentary over top of their stream. So, finally, that's all worked out. We know how to do it if the problem arises in the future, I guess. But, yeah, Joe, if you want to repeat what you were saying a moment ago.
Unfortunately, I was just unlucky. Repeat what? The update on the recap of the game?
Yeah.
Okay. So, roughly, I would believe it was 8 minutes into the game. The score was 7-1 in favor of 905. We're currently at 15 minutes in, and it is now 18-16. Still in favor of 905. But as you can see, the kill gap has shrank quite a bit.
Yeah, you're looking at a 4-4 Vayne now instead of a 4-1. So that's slightly less daunting, I guess, for the side of Poro Land. But the comps are much more interesting this time around. You have a Riven top that was banned away in the previous game, Master Yi jungle, Ryze mid, and then Vayne Nami bot lane. The other side is Lee, Fiora, Anivia support,
Chase bot lane,
and Azir mid. So, not sure whether everyone just sort of wanted to have a bit more fun of a game, but the draft certainly got interesting.
It looks to me like people are playing a lot of their comfort picks. I know Master Yi had popped up in Poro Land's OP.GG. I'm not sure if I saw the Anivia support or not, but I know the Riven was big for both teams. Azir was played a little bit, I believe. I know Vayne is one of Jineba's mains.
Seems right. They're putting a lot of pressure onto this mid turret at the second. It's surprising that with this many kills, 2 outer turrets still stand for the side of 905. And we see that all of the inners are still up for Poro Land, but they did lose the outer turrets. And Azir tries to do the Shurima shuffle, doesn't quite make it. Yi and Vayne are going to get onto him and drop him down. Heal comes in, helps keep the Yi alive, but the Lee Sin is able to get onto Nami and take her down.
And Vayne was just practically left alone in that fight right there.
Riven doing a lot of damage. Has gone for the lethality build with Duskblade and Yomu's. Does a bunch of damage, also easier to get hit. Oh, interesting. It says, oh,
Yeah, I noticed that
well,
a minute ago. Apparently, one of their members had left.
that's unfortunate.
Looks like they're choosing to continue their game. Slug it out ARAM style. See if
Excellent work,
everybody just
everyone.
runs mid.
So yes to everyone. When the stream cut out, we were casting Game 2 of Poro Land versus 905 eSports. Now we're casting ARAM, Poro Land versus 905 eSports. Although an ARAM in which there is still a bot lane for Rice to get caught in. So, oh, although it does look like Fiora is back. Maybe there's a chance this continues on Fiora tries to go in, or Riven rather, sorry, in the bot lane. 1v3 gets mauled. By consequence, Fiora is able to take out E in the top lane, so kills still flying fast and furious across. A little bit hard to tell what's going on sometimes, but, you know. Rai's going to come back up. With Fiora back, that does make things more interesting since she's maybe able to contest the split push presence that the Rune was providing previously, having been really fed. I think at this point it's really important for Poro Land to try and shut down the map a bit in terms of putting vision down and locking 905 away from the objectives, like the Drake that's going to be coming up in a little bit. Next time that I get a look at the scoreboard, I'm going to be able to tell which Drake. Ah, it's there in the pit. Ocean Drake coming up next. Azir gets onto Vayne, doing a lot of damage, and with Lee Sin there as well. Although Vayne does kite out the Lee Sin Q. Might be able to escape here with the help of the blast count. And that's a shock blast coming in from Jace. Not even empowered, it looked like. That was just a regular Q. And Vayne's going to go down again. But yeah, cutting back to the other point, there's really no vision on the map for either team right this second.
No, the map is looking pretty barren. At least you got to keep in mind we can only see Poro Land's warding right now. We aren't able to see anything on 905 side. I know we caught the control ward down in bottom try. But you know, you're right. There's really not much warding going on right now on the side of 905. We have a handful of wards around drag right now.
Alright, getting onto the Anivia. It's going to do a lot of damage. Azir just going in on the Yi, but Yi gets onto him and does take him out on the backside and walks into the Azir turret. That's unfortunate. You're going to see a little bit of an MI pinker down there. Rice is also going to fall at the end to Jace. So continues to just be both of these teams running full force into each other and not letting up. So, you know, yes, Azir Tower. Jace with double buffs is going to hit Vayne hard, and that was a trade I do not think Jineba wanted to go for.
He tried.
Alright. Reminder that if 905 do in fact turn it around and win this, that we will get to have a game 3 that hopefully we can spectate regularly. So, you know, you can always hold out hope for that. Neither team really has much of a front line to speak of, with one side going for an Anivia support and a Fiora top, and the other opting into the Master Yi jungle. So while I think the side of Poro Land does synergize perhaps a bit better with the Ardent Sensor that the Nami has built, it's really going to be contingent on whether or not they can, you know, get some wards down at last and maybe contest an objective or two on, you know, whether or not they're going to be able to actually push in and try to close out.
Yeah. In matchups like this, where both team comps are lacking a definitive front line for some of the squishier members.
Looks like Riven going in onto more members than she realized were there of 905 once again. Flash from Fiora, going to be countered by the ult from Vayne, who's going to be able to do damage. Nami getting the heal, and that's Anivia, who's just going to die as her egg was popped previously. Vayne going aggressive too, and the combination of Fiora and Jace are just going to melt her down. Yi is going to get onto the Fiora and do damage, but that Jace damage is also insane. Not going to be enough in the end, because another Alpha Strike coming out is going to dodge Jace's damage and kill him. Azir comes in onto the Yi, and they're able to trade 1 for 1 there. But Lee continues to be able to escape. Flashed over the wall earlier, used a W there. Ryze looks like he's going to be able to finish him out with that point-and-click W here. And we're looking at I think, an overall 4 for 5 trade. Coming out slightly in favor of Poro Land as their mid laner is able to keep pushing in. However, side lanes have remained pretty much static with both of the inner turrets still standing for 905. And the mid lane outer, while very low, is still up for Poro Land, so they may be given a little bit of extra pressure simply by the fact that the map isn't as open for 905 currently. Looks like they may try to pick up this Ocean Drake here. Nami has gone to clear wards, but no, they look like they may content themselves with the scuttle. Riven is camping in a bush on the bot side, hoping somebody's going to walk out, and she moves up close to the base, maybe hoping to get a pick onto Azir here. Her ult is up, so she could probably burst him down, but as she goes over the wall, Azir is heading top.
Yes, Azir is completely gone.
And now we see Riven, I guess, proxying inside the base of Orland. Lee goes in, Azir goes in, and that Shock Blast does the remainder of her health, and it looks like she's going to be taken down by Lee. Perhaps a bit over-aggressive, walking into the middle of the base without any vision on them, but, you know, you gotta set up those opportunities for highlight reel plays.
Yeah, it does cause a distraction as well throughout the game. I mean, it gave their bot lane some time to push out.
Azir getting
currently...
chunked by Vayne, who does ult, and the Jace does a lot of damage on the backside. Impale comes out huge there, but it's not going to be enough as the 2v1 is, and the Azir damage is still enough to take Vayne down. In the top lane, it looks like they have knocked down another turret, and Ryze is now rotating towards mid with the Yi. Gets onto her. This Fiora parries, but is just not going to be enough to deal with the red smite coming out of the Yi there. Riven teleporting in, they may look to try and crack the base here on this mid lane inhibitor. Azir just totally dropped. Another Alpha Strike going onto the Anivia and is going to take her down even though he dies in response. Riven in the base, Lee's going to get the kick out. Reminder that she is lethality Riven, and so this does do a lot of damage, but also has very little in the way of active sustain or tank stats. So Jace and Lee Sin are just melting through. Lee has also opted into the damage build, going for Warrior Enchantment, Black Cleaver, and a Duskblade.
I mean, it does make sense in this kind of comp. He doesn't have too many, he has no real tanky members to worry about, and if he can land a Q, that could be pretty devastating, especially on the likes of the Vayne or the Nami.
Yeah. At this point, it's interesting because normally the Cleaver is a very solid build in a meta where you're expecting somebody on the other team to build tank sets, but it looks like from the side of Poro Land, they haven't even opted into Ninja Tabis on a majority of their members. I think I saw 2 Merc Treads, 2 Berserker's Greaves, and maybe 1 set of cooldown boots on the Nami, but that's really not much armor. Oh, Vayne almost gets the outplay onto Azir, but another Shock Blast comes in from the side and ends that dream. We do get the opportunity to see teams cross-chat a bit more than we might in regular spectator mode, so yeah, for anyone paying attention to that, there's an extra little level of insight as to what's going through the player's head as the fiesta continues. Good stun from Riven, as the tower is just going to get that last shot on to Lee Sin and take him down. Riven goes in again, a huge amount of damage coming out, but looks like the Anivia egg is going to buy her a little bit of time, but not enough. Yi comes in, picks up 2 kills. That Ryze ult is going to come out to help them chase, and they're going to run down towards Jace. Perhaps this opening is what 905 was dreading, and perhaps it's exactly the opportunity that Poro Land needs to try and turn onto the Baron. However, with the pings coming down to continue chasing Jace, it doesn't look like they're necessarily going to commit for the objective at that point in time.
Now, from the pings, it looked like they might be trying to wait for the Riven to respawn, but I can't imagine them trying to hold off Baron just for one member.
It's interesting. I think with some of them, they were wondering where Jace had gone when he escaped on the backside. You saw him walk around behind Baron Pit, but we, having limited perspective, aren't quite sure what happened there. Blaskin was intact over by the base gate, so he got out somehow. At any rate, Riven is back, and Nami as well is coming down. They may try to do a turn onto Baron here if they can get some vision down. Rise
It looks
has
like they're
caught out
trying to
Lee
get a
Sin,
pick.
chunked him down a little bit, but not much else coming in. Lee's still there, looking to get onto that, and Impale comes out. Nope. And that's a deadly sin. With the jungler down in the Fiora bot lane, despite the fact that she has DP, I think I would like to see perhaps a bit more of an objective focus play from Poro Land here. But this time he gets the Shurima shuffle off, and another Shock Blast comes in and shuts down the Vayne. Bit of an aggressive overextension. At least Rise is shoving in on the top lane, so by no means is Poro Land losing pressure actively, but I feel like going for the Baron might give them the opportunity to siege a little bit more measuredly without opting into all of these fights. Rise still working away at the top side. Riven is coming up from bot lane to maybe try and pick somebody off in the mid. We still have vision on a couple members of 905, but it looks like they opted for the safe route back to just try and defend the tower as opposed to aggressively collapsing on the Rise himself. As your turret goes down in the mid lane. Riven trying to dodge some of the poke and get onto him, but the stun coming out from the Anivia does a lot of damage, and that redemption is not going to be enough to keep the GA from Riven. Or it's the redemption is not going to be enough to keep the GA from Riven up. Fiora ult going to heal 905 back up just a little bit. That's another successful shuffle from Azir as he gets the flash ult off onto two members of Poro Land. Lee Sin getting rooted under tower again. This time he's going to be safe, I think, as they shove in. Fiora doing a bunch of damage, but Azir walks into tower range and gets punished for his trouble. That's a Master Yi going ham on the back line. Despite the knock away from the Jace, she is going to be able to pick up two before Jace takes him down, even through the W. Jace with the GA still intact, going to be looking to push onto this mid lane turret, and with this build he has a ton of ability to shred through that. With 8 seconds left on both Riven and Nami, I think he's going to be able to pick up this inhibitor if he chooses. But no, it looks like he's backed out. Ping goes down onto Drake.
Quite a
Maybe
few
looking for
members
that.
of Sparta. You have Vayne spawning right now. It's quite a bit of damage. I don't blame him for backing off.
Yeah, Riven getting onto the Jace here does get the Guardian Angel out with that last cast of Broken Wings, but that's a little bit early on the stun, and while I don't think Jace is going to be able to turn that... Oh, the Nami gets him with the bounce on the W, and a flash from Riven gets her out of the Anivia damage. Nami's stuck here, but a timely intervention by the Vayne and the Riven saves her as well. So it looks like this is going to be a free Inferno pickup for the side of Poro Land. Very bloody game. 47 to 45 kills in 30 minutes right here. Lee is seen on the side. At this point, since there are two men down from the other team, including a lot of their most potent longer range threats in the Anivia and the Jace, with the Shock Blast threat gone, yeah, they are turning onto the Baron. No pink ward going down in pit, but I don't think it matters as Fury is still in the mid lane, Azir is too, and it doesn't look like 905 are going to attempt to contest as that went down very rapidly. Both of the side lanes are shoving toward Poro Land at this moment in time, and it looks like Rise may be in a bit of a sticky situation. It looks like he used his ult earlier during the collapse onto Jace in the bot river before the Drake, and it looks like he's going to die as he's walled off 1v3. Riven, you recalling on the top side, looks like they may be opting for a bit of a reset on the map. Bot lane's going to push in towards Poro Land, so they're going to have to answer that at some point, but with the Baron buff, they may be able to execute a slightly more effective siege onto the Nexus turrets. One thing
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that's still 4 men with Baron buff on the side of Poro Land. I can't imagine All they have to do is kind of start shoving outside lanes, but I'm having trouble deciphering some of the more serious plays from them fooling around.
Yeah. One thing I will say is that it does not really look like Poro Land have that much range on their team between the Vayne as the AD carry, who has a little bit shorter range when she doesn't have the ult on, and the fact that the rest of their team operates at a closer range, except for maybe the Rise Q. They have been perhaps at a little bit of a pushing disadvantage into the Azir poke with his ability to set up turrets as well, and the Jace who can launch lethality shock blasts at long range and clear out waves fairly effectively. That bot lane wave has still not been answered. It looks like Rise may be heading down to deal with that himself. Rise wave clear is, of course, a very nice thing to have in this scenario where things are constantly bouncing back and forth. Shock Blast comes out and chunks Yi a bit, but the Nami heals are going to sustain everyone up fairly rapidly as they continue to shove in slowly. A huge amount of damage going down to that Fiora as a result of Vayne. Forcing out the parry, but that's a huge Shock Blast on the back end as well. Looks like Nami actually killed the Fiora with the W bounce and the ult there. Failed attempt at an ult from Azir does, however, force the flash out of the Nami, and at this point, 905 have, it seems, forced a little bit of respect out of Poro Land as they have backed off. Jace catching Vayne out on the side, going to do a bunch of damage. Ryze still shoving in the bot lane and Riven in the top lane, so this 1-3-1 has worked out in some capacity for them as they're getting more damage down on inhibitors. Anivia Egg going to be puffed again, and that Yi just has ridiculous damage, so with 2 more kills picked up by him, it looks like they may be trying to shove down the mid lane as well. Riven did fall on the top side as Azir rotated up there, but Ryze is going to get a chance to poke away at this bot lane inhibitor turret without that seeming to be contested. Looks like he got his Guardian Angel popped, and W is not going to be enough to save him from Lee Sin. Ryze does get the bot lane inhibitor turret, and his ult is available if he chooses to use that to get out. It looks like Azir is coming around for the flank. He's going to walk into him. Well, yep, and there's the ult back right into the Fiora. He does pull off the Zhonya's ult trick, but Azir sends a couple of soldiers over the wall and finishes him off. Game continues to be extremely bloody, but one thing is that ever since that play where Jace was able to shove up and get the mid inhibitor turret for the side of 905, they haven't really had any very strong pushes towards Poro Land's towers. Vayne coming in onto Fiora, putting a bunch of damage down. She's forced to run, and if she can get the last one, yep, and the crit comes through. Fiora's dead. Resetting things to a 3v4 for now, but he's responding in a few seconds, and Ryze will be back out very soon. Riven invading into the blue side jungle for 905. Maybe trying to look for a pick or just a couple extra creeps. Azir going for the ult again. This time knocks him right back into the Jace to burst out. That's a good collapse.
Alley-oop.
He is just going to be able to get onto him, and with the Alpha Strike to dodge a lot of the damage. That's 4 people now dead for the side of 905, considering that Fiora was burst out by Vayne earlier. And although the Baron buff has expired, with Yi and Riven here to do damage, it looks like they may be shoving for at least the inhibitor, if not more. Lee Sin's behind, maybe he'll try to cut the wave and do something about it, but this is going to be 2 inhibitors down for the side of 905, making any attempt by them to push out a little bit more difficult. Ryze uses the ult to... Oh god. I didn't notice what happened, but it looks like Ryze used the ult to send Yi into Fountain. Well played, sir. I'm not sure your top laner was quite expecting you to do that, but he's heading back to clear the minion wave and allow the bot lane to start shoving in, putting a little bit of pressure onto the Nexus turrets. The other 2 carries for the side of 905 are coming up right about now, and as Vayne has gone top to try and answer this wave that's been building up, I don't think Riven's going to be able to get too much more done in the base.
No, it looks like they're just going to try to push out top, maybe regroup mid and try to close out the game, but
Let's see. Elder Drake is available. I can't recall who has what. That's an Infernal on each side and an additional Ocean Drake on the side of Poro Land. Rise gets to dodge out the ult, but Nami goes down on the backside of that. Azir is still living, though just barely on the backside. I think he probably queued over into Drake Pet to try and recall in the back. Vayne's going to go in. Nope, he's not there. He's right over there, and he's dead. Nope.
Ooh, no.
Manages to get the shield. They changed as a part of the Rise changes. They modified it so that he gets the shield at the beginning of the animation, as opposed to it being something that requires hitting a champion to get. So he's actually going to survive the Vayne auto. It didn't crit on that particular instance. 80% apparently not enough. But with Yi and Vayne now pushing onto the bot side, Jace is going to be able to pick up a kill onto Vayne, but that's traded back. You now have, again, 4 people dead on the side of 905, and with Riven and Yi shoving in the bot lane with the Elder Dragon buff up, I think Azir is going to have a hard time clearing this out necessarily. Yi uses the Alpha Strike to dodge the ult out of Azir very cleverly, and with super minions coming in the mid, they may look to close it out now with 17 seconds until the Fiora, or not the Fiora, the Anivia comes up with Fiora following afterwards. And with the Yi damage, it looks like they are just going to look to end the game here for the clean 2-0. Well, I shouldn't say clean, but 2-0 on the series. Clearing some waves,
So it
buffing
looks
the
like they're
stats.
trying to get one last fight in before they.
Looking for a kill or two. Anivia's having none of it. Riven's not going to let herself get knocked into the fountain if she can prevent it, but the super minions are going to deal with this Nexus on their own soon enough. Nami may die on the back end, but no, an ult manages to get her out in time. And the super minions are going to take the Nexus down, and that is game 2 of the series. Looks like in the end 905 isn't going to be able to stage a comeback in that game, and that's going to be the 2-0 victory for the side of Poro Land.
Yeah, tonight's matches were
Ooh,
quite interesting.
I should have
First
closed this.
game was played very well by both teams. I'm not exactly sure what happened in the second game, but it seems like they decided to just kind of have some fun and ARAM it up.
Looks good. All right. Well, whoa, wait. What just happened? Pay no attention to the fact that that is what? Interesting. Gonna go ahead and cut this. Somehow that score got flipped. Don't mind this. Right, let's see if anybody wants to get in here for interviews. All right. Ding.
I believe Poro Land is asking about the interviews. If we want to get them in here.
Yeah, if we can just hop in main lobby, I guess,
Sure.
real quick. Pop on over, see if we can get some interviews with people from both sides to see how they felt about the first game and the second game. You know, what led to some of the fun picks we saw coming out, whether it was comfort or whatever else, and just to have a bit of a sit down with the folks who are playing tonight. So.
Can we cue the Jeopardy theme song music?
I can actually do that, yeah.
Nah, hello.
Yeah, just maybe.
Hello.
Hi.
So, quite the evening you guys had tonight.
Yeah, it was a fiesta.
It was quite the fiesta.
I may have used this word during cast.
The first fiesta in the tournament.
Maybe, but certainly not the last.
My first question
Yes.
is, what was funnier? When Rise ulted Yi into the fountain, or when you got alley-ooped under bot lane, or I'm sorry, mid tower by the Azir right into the empowered shock blast from Jace?
They're both funny, honestly.
I laughed both times.
I was laughing because they kept killing me. I'm like, holy.
Oh, you did play the Vayne very well, though, despite some of the explosions.
Lethality Jace is an ADC's worst nightmare anyway.
Oh my.
They kinda destroyed me, honestly.
You still win, so.
That's only because...
At the end of the day, it looked like everyone had fun too, which is good to see. Fiora came back, you got to have a good old-fashioned 5v5 slugfest.
Yeah. They were... I'm just surprised they didn't let you, like, join the lobby.
I mean, it happens, I guess. Some people, not everybody wants their games casted.
I think we're just tired, honestly.
Yeah, it is fairly late on a Sunday evening.
Well, at least it was fun.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So, what were you guys thinking with the first comp? I really liked what you guys had going there with the Tryndamere mid and the Kayn top. Was that the whole idea? Just kind of control the map?
I'm not gonna lie. He didn't mean to pick Tryndamere.
Well, it seems like it worked out.
Like, we were supposed to ban Remus and he didn't know he was picking. So, he insta-locked Tryndamere by accident.
Oh, jeez.
It seemed confident, so, had
They
the
played
other side
well.
thinking. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Split push pick, combining with the Kayn to get that last shove off on the Nexus turrets at the end seemed pretty effective.
Our mid laner was like, should I pick a 0 Kayn? I was like, you can do whatever. And then he picks Kayn.
Got to see one classic play with the Kayn darting into the outside wall of a map into the bot lane turret to try and defend it. Always like seeing that sort of creative pathing, since it breaks sort of the standard rules of the map and you can pull off interesting plays with it.
My recommendation is not to rush Dustplate on Vayne. I don't know why I did it, but I did it.
Next time, you gotta rush Ginsu's.
Ginsus.
Ginsu's on Vayne.
Go the
Hell
Uzi
yeah.
build.
How about we let you guys pick our team comp?
Dude, I'm down. All
And
supports.
We'll try our hardest to win with it.
Thrush jungle, it's my favorite.
I gotta do the classic Thresh Crank bot lane.
Thresh Crank. I don't think my girlfriend plays Blitzcrank. That might be a problem.
Hey, something to work on. Bring it out for finals.
Close your eyes, press Q, pray.
I was just sad that you guys couldn't cast again.
Hopefully next week.
I was looking forward to it, actually.
Yeah.
Well,
Between the host and you streaming it and us doing it, we got a fair bit of the second half at least cast on the channel, and it seemed like everybody was playing perhaps a little bit less seriously that time, so I don't think anything super critical was missed.
pretty sure they gave up, because our solo laners are like all really good, except for me. I'm like garbage, and I was feed anyways.
Yeah, we saw you guys say. Did Fiora? Did she quit the game, or was there a problem there? You guys didn't pause.
I think she rage quit,
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
and then she came back.
Well, I mean, at least they came back. It didn't seem like they were too upset. Everyone kind of just finished out the game, which at least that's probably for the best.
Yeah. happen.
Yo, what's crack-a-lack, my dude?
We're doing an interview.
Hi.
My bad.
Get out. All right. Well, I think that actually does probably wrap up us for the night. Jineba, congratulations. You guys played an excellent games tonight.
Indeed.
And good luck in the following weeks. We hope to cast for you again with maybe a little less shenanigans going on.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. Well, who are we fighting next week? No Limit Kings.
I'm sure it'll be a good matchup.
All right.
Take it.
All right.
Bye.
Take it easy. Have a good night.
You too.
Neat.
Bye bye.